than 115 years, Camp Hale in Sandwich has been changing lives, one booyah at a time.
When I first got here, honestly, it felt like I was in a different world. Like, I've never, nowhere else, I haven't been in the woods, ever. And when I was 6, it was really different for me.
This is my 4th year. I'm loving it. The amount of fun I have. And I usually make new friends when I come here, so that's why I like coming. I was having all these thoughts that this would be like a rugged outdoorsman place, but then when I actually came here, it was amazing.
Founded in 1900, Camp Hale is one of the oldest camps in New Hampshire still in operation, and is one of dozens of camp stories being brought to life in a new exhibit at the Museum of the White Mountains in Plymouth.
So in the museum, we think about celebrating and engaging people in the past and the present, but also thinking about the future. So thinking about stories, and I think about each exhibit as a story, how we come to that story, what kind of happened in the past, and then what do we want it to do? How do we want it to inspire people to go forward?
Camp is a definitive experience in people's lives. It's a transformative experience in people's lives. Camp is that first time away from home. It's that first time, being on your own. It's that first time, that you're living these adventures away from your family, away from your normal friends, your normal lives.
Having collected more material than they could imagine, the museum and its team set out to tell the story of summer camps in New Hampshire. They narrowed their focus to the northern part of the state, where the tourism industry planted roots for summer camps in the 1800s.
All these adults are going to these resorts in the White Mountains, and there was a general feeling that it's great for adults to have, lobster and fine crystal and champagne for their summer resort experience, but kids should have a different experience.
While the children of the wealthy may have benefited from the creation of summer camps, it wouldn't take long for other kids to benefit too.
There are so many of these camps that were focusing on different populations and focusing on kind of using camps as a way to serve every child. I mean, the first summer camps opened in the 1880s. By the 1890s, we have camps specifically for inner city youth.
Camp Hale was one of those inner-city youth camps. It was created by the United South End Settlements out of Boston and was designed to get kids out of the city and learn how to coexist with those unlike themselves, a mission they still hold true.
One of the things that we do here at camp is we're giving kids these challenges by taking them out of their comfort zone, and they're around kids they would have never been around. They get to learn from each other, and they value each other at the end of it, whether they go through hard times or bad times.
It's really cool to see the kids coming back year after year, see how much they've changed, to talk to the parents on the off season and just hear the skills that they've brought home with them, whether it's something simple like making their bed or, showing their leadership skills in their school. A lot of them are attributed to what they learned at camp.
Camp Hale has survived through the years, but other camps did not, but nonetheless made a huge impact. Maplewood Caddy Camp operated out of the Maplewood Resort in Bethlehem for nearly 50 years.
What these kids would do is they would, they'd apply, they'd get hired, they would go up and they would work in these camps where half the day, usually, they would work as a caddy on the golf course, and half the day would be their camp experience. And so they get to do, they're going on hikes and they're going horseback riding and playing baseball and doing this, but they're also working and getting paid.
Part of the museum's exhibit includes oral histories from some of the caddy campers, as well as others.
Without Mayhew, there's a good chance I would probably not have survived, I think that I was heading down a road of getting into trouble.
The interviews were conducted by research intern Max Peterson.
You could read a transcription of these camp stories and you could forget it in a couple days. But hearing the voices, hearing the accents, hearing the emotion in their voices, I mean, it sticks with you. Even if you don't remember the words, you remember the core, emotions of what they're conveying to you, and that stuff sticks with you.
Camp Stories is the heart and soul of this exhibit. And it started off with what we thought was going to be a very important part, but I don't think we really knew that it was going to take on the soul and really become the central piece, the touchstone for the whole exhibit.
So whether you attended camp or not, the museum believes we can all relate to these stories. And through the exhibit, hope to tap into the camper living inside of each of us.
I think that's been the most exciting part, is to see that resonance in people's minds, the twinkle in their eye when they start talking about when they were 12 going off to camp, or this summer they spent with this, and it always goes into some story about something amazing, and it's just really cool to be a part of that.